Hey everyone, Maury Dunbar here back at Painted Studio. Happy Thanksgiving week. It's Black Friday. Let me get myself up here on my screen so I can make sure that the volume's down and see myself and all of that, but not have to listen to myself on echo. Okay, so we are back in the studio. I hope everybody had a fabulous Thanksgiving. And we're going to do some fun stuff today, and then we'll pick up right where we always do on Monday. So it is Black Friday, and we have been running a big sale. So just so you know what our sale is, it is 30% off all tools like rollers and brushes and anything that falls under the category of tools. So tape, cheesecloth, anything under in that heading is 30% off, and 30% off our in-stock foils as well, both by the roll and by the foot. So take advantage of that. And then it's 20% off of everything else in the store, and that includes our in-stock Faux Effects products. Now, it does not include special orders, just the in-stock products. So don't hesitate to take advantage of this. The sale ends after this weekend, so you don't want to miss out. All right, so our next thing to do, we are going to do little dollar store wooden Christmas trees. Now, I think I'm probably being generous by calling these wooden. I think they're probably particle board, but particle board doesn't write as easily on a caption. So I think we're just going to call them particle board and hope that's what it is, because they're awfully light. They don't feel like wood. And if I look at the side here, that's not wood grain, that's particle board. So they've already been painted and sealed, so I don't have to worry about any of that. But you know, they're okay. I think I paid $1.50 for each of these, or $2 for each of these. I got them, I don't know, last week sometime. And this one has some sort of chalky paint on it, which is terrible. It scratches off all these little scratch marks and stuff on here. That's just from it falling over on stuff. This one has a glitter finish on it. So we're going to do a couple different things. I'm going to flip the camera down. I'm going to find where I put my product, and we're going to get right into stuff. All right, so make sure my big water cup is out of the way. So the first thing we're going to do, that's for that one. I have everything organized, sort of, and then of course, as you know me, I lose things. When I get organized, I misplace them, so we're just gonna have to live with that. So we're going to coat this. Now, I have taped off my bottom because I don't want to get my product on the base. I haven't decided what I'm doing with the base yet, but I know I don't want this on there. I'm going to coat this entire thing with glass bead gel. Now, you can use whatever tools. You can use a scraper, you can use a palette knife, you can use the fake credit cards they send you in the mail, you can use old hotel room keys, whatever you've got. I'm using this old hotel room key from somewhere. I've had it for a while, and I just cut it in half so I have a slightly smaller tool. And we are going to be using the Artsyville glass bead gel. And yes, that is on sale as well. So that's 20% off the regular price. Now, I am just going to put a thin coating on here because I'm hoping maybe the glitter will show through. It may not. Doesn't matter. I'm going to make it work because I have ideas if it doesn't show through, because quite frankly, I didn't remember there was glitter on here until I came into the studio this afternoon. And yes, I came in late today because it was Thanksgiving yesterday. On the back, it's plain. And after this dries, I'm going to flip this over. And my plan is to put foil adhesive on the back and release a dark green, hunter green foil on here, and then do bead gel over that. I want the two different looks because personally it's because I'm curious and I want to see what it looks like over the two different materials, but also because I think it gives you two options. You can use one side if you want it to look one way. You can use the other side if you want it to look another way. Now, you can build this up as thick as you want, but I try personally not to build it up thicker than 1 bead. Why? Because it takes much longer to dry, and B, when you build it up thicker, it starts getting hazy, so you get less shimmer and sort of more crusty globs, which is really cool if that's what you want, but that's not what I want on this. So I think I'm going to turn it this way, so instead of trying to work my way up the tree, I'm going to work down it. Being a lefty, that means I have to pay attention to which direction I do things, but I did want to get the trunk done first, just because I wanted to make sure that if I had a little edge like this, it flowed over the trunk, so it looked a little more realistic. As realistic as a Dollar Tree store that's made out of particle board can look. I know, I'm being, you know, I'm picking my battles here, what I want to have happen, so that's just it. You know, Dollar Tree is a great resource for surfaces if you don't know what you want to do. Now, we also have paintable surfaces on our website. We have all kinds of stuff. Big wooden cutouts, they're beautiful, and those are also part of our sale, so definitely check those out. We have wooden wreaths, trees, ornaments of big and small sizes, reindeer cutouts, reindeer ornaments, you name it. We got a lot of stuff, so we're going to get into all of those eventually. You saw me doing the trucks and the gingerbread men earlier this fall, so maybe I'll have to go digging up some of the other ornament shapes and see what I can make out of those too. But I love doing Christmas stuff, and this also gives me a chance for you to see how all of these funky products that we have work, because sometimes if you don't know what it is, how can you know how cool it is to work with? So glass bead gel, it goes on white like this, and then turns, what does it do? It turns clear. Boy, I am a little tired. I cooked for 2 days. We had friends over. I'm not a big drinker, so that wasn't an issue. But like by 7 o'clock, I was ready for bed. Just, oh, the party girl in me from my youth would weep at how I've become like I want to be in bed by 7:30 at night. Just sit there, don't bother me. Let me scroll through TikTok and Facebook and stuff. It's a good thing. It's a good thing I have those high-heeled, short dress, crazy memories to look back on, because I don't think I could do it again. I'm also grateful a lot of this pretty much everything, because even in my 40s, camera phones weren't as big a deal, and you didn't see everything the way you do now. People didn't like capture stuff and put it on social media, so it was safer. My mother never found out all the things I got away with. I know some of you feel the same way. Grateful. All right, so we're just troweling this on nice and thin. And this will turn clear, and I'll see whether the glitter shows through or not. Now, this is not going to be the only thing I do to this. As I said, the other side I'm going to put foil on, but this side, I still have other plans of things to do on here. If I like it, it could stay just glass bead gel and maybe a little texture medium to make the branches look even more snow-laden. If I want to do more, I could deck it out with some colored bead gel. We have colored beads. You can make your own, or you can add pigment to your glass bead gel and make it do fun stuff. Get all this on here. And if you notice, even if I get it over the edge, I don't care. I can go in with my fingers. I can go in with my tool, I can just clean it up. And I do like cleaning it up. I'm kind of I like clean edges, even though I'm incapable of making them in one pass. I admire people who are able to do stuff like that and get it, you know, they lay it out perfectly in one swing. That's never been me. I am always the messy person. When I used to go out to Jennifer Ferguson's studio out in California, and when I had more time to do that, I'd go work on finishes. We designed some classes and taught together, and I could trash her studio in like 5 minutes flat. She was just astonished at how fast I could get everything everywhere. I did warn her though. I warned her that I'm a messy painter, and I'd done trade shows with her, so she knew I wasn't lying. But I am like a whirling dervish, and I set stuff down, and you've seen it. I set something down, and all of a sudden I can't find it again. That's how I've always been, and unfortunately, I may be unable to change it if I haven't done it by now. I get all these little things off the edges, just because I want to keep those lines clean. And you can see this goes pretty quickly. I mean, I'm talking and doing this, and I'm still able to get it covered fairly quickly. And while we work on the other one, this will be drying, and I may even be able to show you that some of this is already cleared. I can't promise that. I do have the heat on pretty high in the studio today because it is bitter cold out. Temperatures are in the 20s today, and we had a few snow flurries this morning. No, not real snow, but we did have some flurries out this morning. So while I was out and about and doing stuff in the morning, oh yeah, I had snow to deal with. It wasn't a big deal. It was actually kind of nice. I was driving around the city of Chicago earlier this morning, and it's nice to be downtown on a holiday day, because really all the roads were light, the driving was easy, the streets were quiet, and it was just tons of families going to do stuff. A lot of people heading to Macy's, which was, you know, is the old Marshall Fields building here in Chicago, to see Santa, and going to the Maggie Daly skating rink. It's so beautiful this time of year in Chicago. I know summer is wonderful here, but I gotta tell you, Chicago is a Christmas city. It's so beautiful. The big tree lighting parade happened, not this week, but last week, and so now all of downtown Chicago is all lit up, and the Kindle Mart has opened, so that's there too, which I love. I will tell you a secret though, I really don't go to the one in the city anymore because it's in the Daily Center Plaza, and it's very tight and compacted, so it kind of hits into my like dislike of crowds. And so there's another one that's out in Naperville, which is far western suburbs, and it's almost all the same vendors, but it's much more spread out. So we go to that one now. I used to take my son to the other one in the city, but once they opened the one up in Naperville, because he's a little claustrophobic too, and we just like going where there's little more room and it's easy to park. And you don't pay for parking, because paying for parking in Chicago can be expensive, especially down where the Kindle Mart is. There's really no street parking. Okay, so we've gotten, get that one spot there. And see, if you notice, I am troweling this lightly. What happens if I trowel it, push pressure on it? Watch. It starts dragging the beads, and that's not good. You don't want those drag marks. You just want to smooth it out. So plastic like this is super useful. It's flexible. It doesn't fling the beads everywhere like metal does. It just bends gently and allows you to kind of trowel things out better. So I'm going to come back. I'm going to check and make sure I've gotten off any of the extra that needs to come off that I've got in my edges. And if I miss an edge, I can always come back with an X-Acto knife later, but I try to get them off the first time. I don't want to clean one blob off by sticking another one on. Now, I don't know about you, but I am not a Black Friday shopper. I mean, in person, I do stuff online, but I don't like going to the stores because I don't want to be in that panicked crowd. And let's be honest, these days, most people like us start their Black Friday sale ahead of time. And we try to make it a little more convenient for people so they don't have to fight a crowd. Let's do this. I'll give it a little bit of texture just coming back in. Once I got it thin enough. And this will just rough this up just a little bit so it looks more tree-like, but beads are thin enough. All right, you can see it's starting to set up a little bit because where I just tried to smooth, it grabbed everything right there. So I'm going to come back and carefully try to smooth it a little bit, but the texture is okay. Getting all that extra stuff off these edges. I love all the Christmas movies that come on this time of year. I think somebody's doing a 12 days of, 24 hours of Christmas vacation right now. But I was watching White Christmas. Now, one of my favorites is The Bishop's Wife, the old one, not the newer one. That's The Preacher's Wife with Whitney Houston. I love the old one that was done with Cary Grant and David Niven. My dad loved it, so it's probably partially because my dad loved it. All right, so now if you look at this, you can see that glass bead gel has coated everything, and we're going to set it aside to dry. Now, like I said, it's probably not going to be dry by the end of this live, but we will do some, let that set up. If there's any clear spots, I'll be able to show you how it's drying, and we'll move on from there next week when I put the foil adhesive on the back and do this again, our Artsyville glass bead gel over the foil. All right, so now we have our little white tree. Now this one, I'm going to use Artsyville Texture Medium on here. Now, Texture Medium does not come in a gallon. This just happens to be a retailer's studio gallon for me to show you stuff with. It comes in quarts. It comes in 10-ounce jars. Now, I'm going to need something to pop this can open. So here goes one of my pairs of scissors. And let's see, I need something to scoop some stuff out onto. Let's see, what have I got? Well, I may just scoop some of it out right onto the paper. And I always try to cover my products in gallons and in quarts with a piece of plastic. It helps extend the life of this once you've gotten your containers open. All right, come on, scoop out. I'm just gonna, and watch, I will probably smush this into stuff. All right, I forgot to close this down a little bit. So if anybody has any questions, I am here to answer them. I hope you all are having a great holiday weekend. Now, because I've put this right here and the tree is going to be half in my lap and half on the table, I guarantee you I will probably smush the tree into this. So this may not have been my best idea, but we're going to go and hope that it's a better idea than I realized once I did this. Put put the gallon to the side. Let me grab a piece of paper towel to clean my fingers off, just so that I can touch things. I don't care about my manicure or anything. I just don't want to touch things that I don't want to get this onto and then make a mess. All right, so again, this one has this weird chalk painted stuff on this side, and then it's plain white on the other. So this side, I know I'm going to do the texture medium. This side, I may touch up where it's gouged here, and then do a pearlescent foil and just do a little texture medium over it. I haven't quite decided. And yes, it's even got glitter on it from the other tree, because we all know glitter is contagious. So I'm just doing this with my palette knife because it'll keep my hands out of it a little more, since I'm a mess and a slob. As I've honestly stated before. So I just want to get this on here. Now this I don't have to apply as thinly and stuff as I was doing the other, because I'm actually trying to cover what was under here. And this can be tinted, but you can't get it tinted to a deep color. It is white based. Let me grab something to drink here for a second. It is white based, so you can tint it to a medium tone, mid-tone color maybe, for anything that would handle a white base. Now, I have my trunk. I want to create a tree trunk kind of texture. So I have a piece of plastic that was a wrapper for something. And I could do this with plastic wrap too, but this is just a little crisper. So I've crunched it up. I'm going to kind of mush it over this. Pull it back. Now, that made kind of a mess there, but then I'm going to come in with my tool and lightly knock it down. And I can come back up if I want to. And that looks much more like bark. So I hope the camera's getting that. Yeah, there we go. So this will take longer to dry than even the bead gel, because it's going to be thicker. So I'm coming in and I'm doing this intentionally from the bottom up, because I want to emphasize those layers of branches, whereas the other one I was trying to get it a little smoother and just a little tiny bit of texture added. I'm coming at this differently. So I'm gonna, and this is gonna be a textured finish. Now that we're, sorry, Fred is texting me, even though I put everybody on mute. It's not staying muted. Let me see. I want this to look more pine tree-like. All right, let's get this in here, but I want to give more of the fir tree experience. So I'm kind of being very specific and very directional with this. And if you don't like the tool I'm using, you know, there's plenty of other palette knives. They're bigger, they're smaller. But this is the one I happen to have, so I'm not going out and buying any new tools to do this. Okay. And here we go. So you can see now I'm start getting that layered look, and then we're going to come back in and do the next layer. And so I'm reaching here, and then I'm going to come, I've got to make sure I get these lower ones up high enough. Got to get all the way up just under the line of the next tree. So I have to kind of come back into a few things down here that I didn't go up high enough with. I want to make sure that I get it under the line of the tree or the line of the branches. Now, if you wanted to, and I might, you could embed this with glitter or glass the glass nuggets mixtures that we carry. I think I have some silver ones. Now that I'm thinking about it, sprinkling some glass nuggets on this would be kind of fun. Oh, I like that idea. So I will do that as soon as I get the material on here. I'm trying to make it look intentionally layered, but it might not come out quite that way. It might just come out really kind of looking like weird wood. But sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. So let me pull this product up just a little bit up here. It might work better if I thinned it out a little bit. Sometimes if you get too much product on, it just gets clumpy and gloppy, so you don't get the result you want. So there's that. And then let me come in here. Oh, that's working much better. Yeah, I got it on here too thick. I was thinking I was so smart, if I put it on thicker it would work better, but actually if I put it on a little thicker, smooth it in first, and then come back, I can create the look I want. I just got to make sure I get it up high enough so it works for the next layer. So now I'm going to smear this all over here. Make sure I clean my edges. Well, they don't have to be perfect, because we all know that when snow falls on trees, it kind of drips down on stuff. Okay, let's do that. Let's make sure that goes up high enough. Okay, there's that. There's that. That is actually working much better. I'm actually seeing definition between the different layers, and that's really what I was aiming for. All right, let's come back in here. Probably have, yeah, I have too much product on, but that's okay. You know, every time I try something new, it's a first for me, so I'm never sure how it's going to work out, and you get to learn with me as it goes. You know, I have no, personally, I don't, well, obviously I don't have fear of making messes in front of other people, but sometimes I need to learn something from the ground up too. So I have these great ideas and I think they're going to work perfectly, and they don't always work perfectly. I have to kind of figure it out, and I don't mind figuring it out in front of everybody, because that helps you all when you want to figure stuff out, to see different ways of working through stuff. Okay, I want a little more specific right there. Stop having all the lines be in the same place. Okay, and then we just need to get a little more on the top here. Now, if you don't want this texture in here, you don't have to put it in. I want that texture. So, knock that down a little bit. That does something interesting too. If I pull it up and get little peaks and then knock them down, that's pretty too. I might do that. Do a little of that while it's all still wet. Let's see what happens. I love playing with stuff like this because you think you've got it, and then it does something weird and interesting, and you're like, ooh, whole new idea. All right, let's do this. All right, let's come back in here and see what happens if I pull some stuff up a little bit, flip it around because I like that. I get a little bit of peak coming up. Try to keep my sleeve out of the stuff. Let's knock that one down just a little bit. And then knock that down. Oh, that gives it a really nice texture. Much more tree-like instead of these nicely organized lines that I've been trying to do. Kind of sucks, pull it up and it sucks to the bottom of the palette knife and then flops back over. It gives it a really pretty texture. Okay, so here we are. Here's our texture on the tree itself. If you don't want stuff on the sides, come back in, take your palette knife or whatever tool you're using, scrape it off. I'm doing this from the back because I can see where the biggest blobs are. All right, so we've got that textured, and I happen to have, that's not what I thought it was. I thought it was silver glass nuggets. I have gold nuggets. We could do gold nuggets. I don't think you guys want me to stop. I could do gold on one side and silver on the other. I'll just find the silver ones for next week. So let's put some gold on here. And again, we carry these so you can buy them from us. And look at how pretty that is, like that, just really simple. And I can put them heavy on the trunk just to kind of make it look a little different from the top. Now they will stick to this because they're heavy. These nuggets are made out of glass, so they're kind of heavy. But if you want, you can come back in with your finger and pat them down a little bit. After all that work of getting the texture on the trunk, I'm filling it with gold nuggets. That was genius of me. But I didn't think of it before, so. And you can come in, any of the big ones, just come in and give it a little press with your fingers. This will all stick. Just don't stick your fingers in the texture so that you lose the texture you just worked so hard to create. But that's actually just on its own, just like that. Super simple, so pretty. And that's going to spend its time drying as well. I'll flip the camera back up, and we're just keeping it quick and easy today. And I warned you I was going to stick something in the texture medium that I put on there. I stuck the bottom of the jar in there. And what you can't see is I also stuck my iPad case into it. I'm a mess. What can I tell you guys? I warn everybody, I'm truthful, I'm messy. But I know there are plenty of us messy folks out there. My soul family and sloppy, messy, fun making. I'm like a 5-year-old who never learned to clean up after themselves sometimes. God, there we go. I'm going to take this piece of paper before I actually do stick my elbows in it. I work on parchment paper just for this reason, so that I can always clean up after myself. And if you wonder where I get my parchment paper from, I buy it from Uline. I buy it by the case, and that saves me a lot of messiness, except for the fact that I keep hitting the tree with the paper right now. So good for me. I was warning everybody I am a mess. Okay, there we go. So again, we're just doing our little trees. I don't think I've gotten anything. Yeah, nothing's really turned clear on this one. We will be embellishing this so that it's got a little more design, but you could just leave it like this if you wanted to. Or you could take our Artsyville glass bead gel, mix some of the glass nuggets into it and spread it over like this. You could do all kinds of things. It's a super, super flexible medium, in meaning that there's a lot of ways you can play with it. Same with the texture medium. Now, I wouldn't mix glass bead gel or glass beads or the nuggets into the texture medium because it's opaque and white, and therefore you lose all of that fun stuff. It will kind of get buried in the whiteness. Frankly, it works a little better if you just sprinkle it on top. But you saw I got all kinds of textures. You can do all kinds of wonderful things. I was considering putting roller through it, but I decided I liked the hand textured finish first. I'm trying to get the roller on the table without knocking anything else off. So, you know, I could have done this and put a roller through the texture, white texture medium tree, and put a roller through it, and we would have gotten a great pattern that way. If you wanted to do that, don't hesitate to give any of these things a try. And both of these stay wet. The texture medium especially stays wet enough, long enough that if you don't like it, you just take your trowel or whatever your tool is, smooth it back out and do something different. It works great that way. I love this product. It can be used on walls. It can be used on furniture. It can be used on window frames. You can do all kinds of stuff with it because it dries. The feeling of it is a little like marshmallow fluff. It's kind of spongy, springy, but it dries kind of porous and cement-like looking. There's no grit in it, but because of the way it dries in porous, and it'll feel like a little like concrete, and it dries really hard. So I think you really enjoy using some of this. Again, it comes in 10 ounces in quarts, just like the glass bead gel comes in 10 ounces in quarts. And right now we're running a sale and it's 20% off. Now this is our biggest sale of the year. Occasionally we do stuff where you get some foils or a few other products, but this one, everything in the studio is for sale, including faux effects products. So do not hesitate to please go to paintedstudio.com, check it out. The discounts are taken in the cart, so you don't even need a code. It's all done for you. All right, everybody, have a wonderful Black Friday afternoon, Thanksgiving weekend. Remember to support your local small businesses and your friendly online small businesses this weekend. We'd really appreciate it. Have a super time. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.